Hello and welcome back to the Clark Academic Center. Today we will be talking about the 7th edition APA Style Guide. Here is a sample paper that I have pulled from the Calvary University website under the Clark Academic Center page under our Style Guides tab. What I would like you to first notice about an APA paper is that there is a page number in the top right-hand corner. It starts on the title page and continues through the rest of the paper. I would also like to note that there is no running head on the 7th edition student papers. The title is going to be 3 or 4 lines below the top of the page. It's going to be centered and bolded. Your name or the student name is 2 lines below the title. On the next line, it's going to be followed by the department in the college and then the college's name. So here we have the Biblical Counseling Department, Calvary University. The following line has the course number followed by the course name. The next line has the professor's name, and finally the last line has the date that the assignment is due. I would also like you to note that APA papers are double-spaced, Times New Roman font, and the size of the font is going to be 12 point. On the next page is going to be the abstract. The abstract is a brief synopsis of what you will talk about within your paper. However, I would like to note that not all professors require you to put an abstract in your APA paper, so make sure that you are clarifying with your professor if they would like you to include an abstract. The abstract heading is going to be centered and bolded as well. Moving on to the next page. This is going to be where you start your paper. At the top, you are not going to have an introduction as your heading. You're just going to have the title of the paper again, and it's going to be bolded and centered right above the introduction paragraph. All level 1 headings or main headings are going to be bolded and centered. So this is going to include your main points as well as your conclusion heading as well. However, I did want to point out that there are second level headings which are going to be flush with the left side of the page, and they are also going to be bolded. I also wanted to point out the parenthetical or in-text citation. Here we have that. It's going to include the author and the date with a comma in between. And that's if you're going to be paraphrasing a source. However, if you're going to be directly quoting a source, you would also want to include the page number if you have that available to you. Continuing on, I wanted to show you the references page as well. This is where you are going to list your citations that you used within your paper. References is going to start on a new page. It's going to be centered and bolded. This page is again going to be double-spaced, and you want to make sure that you are using a hanging indent with your citations. Also, make sure that your citations are in alphabetical order. So you can see this example here. I also wanted to point out a helpful resource. This is Purdue OWL. I wanted to first point out in-text citations, author, and authors. So here you can see some different situations that you might deal with if you have a work by one author or a work by 2 authors or 3 or more authors. It just shows you how you're going to make that into an in-text citation. So this site is super helpful for that. I also wanted to point out that it can help you with your reference list as well. So it can show you how to include a single author or multiple authors. I also find it helpful when I am looking to cite a book, knowing what format to use that. So here's the basic format for a book. So you're going to include the author's name, the year of publication, the title of the work in italics, and then the publisher name as well. And so then they have some other specifics there as well if you need help with that. I also wanted to point out electronic sources within the reference list. So here we have a web page or piece of an online content. So if there is an author's name, you would put the author's name, the year, and the month and date, as well as the title of the page in italics, the site name, and then the URL. However, there might not always be an author on the website, so you might need to put a group name followed by the year, month, date, title, page, site name, URL. So here you can see they did an example, the American Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. And so I highly suggest using Purdue OWL to help you format your APA papers. So that is how you format an APA paper. Thank you for listening in.